In the lively town of Brookside, nestled in the sunny valleys of California where orange groves filled the air with sweet citrus scent and children rode bikes along tree-lined streets until the streetlights flickered on, there lived a boy named Alex Rivera. Alex was 12 years old, with bright, curious eyes, messy dark hair that always looked like he had just come from an adventure, and a heart that wanted to do everything all at once. He loved soccer, building model rockets, playing guitar, reading comic books, helping his grandmother in her garden, learning magic tricks, and collecting shiny rocks from the creek behind his house. Every day felt like a new door opening, and Alex wanted to run through all of them at the same time. But his days had become complete chaos. Alex's schedule was overflowing. He rushed from soccer practice to guitar lessons, from rocket club to magic club, from helping at home to staying up late reading. He said yes to every invitation, every new hobby, every "you should try this." His backpack was a mess of half-finished projects. His room looked like a storm had passed through it. Soccer cleats mixed with guitar strings, rocket pieces scattered among comic books, and rocks rolling under the bed. He was always tired, always late, and always feeling like he was failing at something. His mother, who worked as a teacher and somehow managed to keep their home running smoothly, would gently say, "Alex, you can't pour yourself into every jar at once. Something has to give." His father, a calm mechanic who fixed cars with steady hands, would add, "Son, life is like a jar. If you try to fill it with too many big rocks at the same time, nothing fits properly." Alex didn't understand. He thought if he just worked harder and faster, he could do it all. "I don't want to miss anything," he would reply, already rushing off to the next thing. One Saturday morning, when the orange trees were heavy with fruit and the sky was a perfect blue, Alex's grandfather, Abuelo Miguel, came to visit. Abuelo was a wise old man with silver hair, calloused hands from years of working in the groves, and eyes that seemed to hold the patience of the seasons. He had heard about Alex's chaotic days and brought a simple glass jar with him, the kind used for preserving fruit. "Today, mijo," Abuelo said with a gentle smile, "I want to show you something about life." He placed the empty glass jar on the kitchen table. Then he brought in a bowl of large rocks, a bowl of small pebbles, a bowl of sand, and a pitcher of water. "Watch carefully," Abuelo said. First, he filled the jar with the large rocks until no more would fit. "These big rocks are your most important things in life. Your family, your health, your real dreams, the things that truly matter to your heart." The jar looked full, but Abuelo then poured in the small pebbles. They rattled down and filled the spaces between the big rocks. "These pebbles are the good but secondary things: schoolwork, hobbies, friends, fun activities." Again, the jar seemed full. Next, Abuelo poured in the sand. It sifted into every tiny gap left by the rocks and pebbles. The sand is all the little busy things: video games, scrolling on phones, small chores, things that fill time but don't really feed your soul. Finally, he poured water into the jar until it reached the very top. "And the water? That's everything else, the distractions, the worries, the things that seem urgent but often aren't important." Alex stared at the completely full jar. "It all fit," he said, surprised. Abuelo smiled wisely. "Now watch what happens if we do it in the wrong order." He emptied the jar and started again, this time pouring in the sand first, then the pebbles, then trying to add the large rocks. The big rocks wouldn't fit. No matter how he pushed, the jar was already too full of smaller things. Even the water had no room. "You see, Alex," Abuelo said softly, "if you fill your life with the small stuff and the busy stuff first, there will be no space left for the big, important things that truly matter. But if you put the big rocks in first, the things that feed your heart and your future, then the smaller things can still find their place around them. The order matters. Your priorities matter." Alex sat quietly, staring at the two jars, one beautifully balanced with everything in its right place, the other overflowing with sand and unable to hold the important rocks. For the first time, he saw his own life clearly. His days were like the second jar, filled with sand, endless video games, rushing between too many activities, saying yes to everything, while the big rocks, time with family, real rest, focusing on the dreams that actually lit him up inside, had no room to fit. That afternoon, Abuelo helped Alex make his own jar of life. They wrote the big rocks on pieces of paper. Time with family, especially quiet evenings with mom, dad, and little sister, health and real rest, sleeping enough, playing outside without rushing, school and learning with focus, not just rushing through homework, 1 or 2 passions he truly loved. He chose drawing rockets and playing guitar, the ones that made time disappear in a good way. Then they listed the pebbles, soccer practice, but only 2 days a week, reading comics, helping in the garden. The sand was everything else, extra clubs, too much screen time, worrying about what others thought. Alex took the list home and began to make changes. It wasn't easy at first. He had to say no to some invitations that sounded fun but would crowd his jar. He had to put his phone away during family dinner so he could actually talk and listen. He had to wake up earlier to have quiet time for drawing rockets before school instead of rushing. Some days he felt the old pull of chaos, wanting to do everything. But every evening he looked at his paper jar of life and remembered Abuelo's demonstration. Slowly, the chaos began to settle. Mornings became calmer. Alex had real time to eat breakfast with his family instead of grabbing something while running out the door. His schoolwork improved because he focused on it without feeling scattered. His guitar playing became more joyful because he practiced with presence instead of squeezing it between 10 other things. Even his little sister noticed, "You're actually here when we play now," she said happily one evening as they built a fort together. The biggest surprise came when Alex chose to focus deeply on his rocket drawings. Instead of half-finishing 10 different projects, he worked patiently on one special design. With clear space in his life, the ideas flowed better. He entered a regional science fair with a well-built model and a beautiful drawing of how it could help deliver medicine to remote areas. To his amazement, it won second place, not because he did the most activities, but because he had given his best energy to what truly mattered to him. His parents noticed the change too. One quiet Sunday evening, as the family sat on the porch watching the sunset paint the orange groves in golden light, his father said, "You seem happier, son. Less rushed." Alex smiled and pulled out his jar of life paper. "Abuelo showed me that if I put the big things first, everything else finds its place. I was trying to fit everything in at once and nothing fit well. Now I feel like I have room to breathe." His mother hugged him tightly. "We're proud of you for learning this so young. Life will always try to fill your jar with sand if you let it. Choosing your big rocks first is one of the wisest things a person can do." As the seasons changed and Alex grew older, he kept refining his jar of life. Some big rocks stayed the same. Others shifted as he discovered new dreams. But the habit remained. He always put the most important things first. His days became fuller in the ways that mattered, not busier in the ways that exhausted him. Years later, when Alex became a young engineer who designed real rockets and still played guitar on quiet evenings, he would visit schools and share the story of the jar of life. He would bring an actual glass jar and do the demonstration for the students. "Don't let the sand of busy, small things fill your days first," he would tell them with a warm smile. "Decide what your big rocks are, the things that feed your heart, your growth, your relationships, your real dreams. Put them in first. Then let the rest of life fit around them. You will be amazed at how much room there actually is when the priorities are clear." And in the sunny town of Brookside, California, where the orange groves still bloom and children still ride bikes under the big sky, many families began keeping their own jar of life on the kitchen table. A simple reminder that a meaningful life isn't about doing the most things. It's about doing the right things, in the right order, with enough space left for joy, rest, and the people we love. Because when you put the big rocks in first, life doesn't feel like chaos anymore. It feels like a beautifully balanced jar, full, but not overflowing. Peaceful, but not empty. Clear, focused, and deeply satisfying. That was the gift Alex discovered the day his grandfather brought an empty glass jar to the kitchen table. And it changed everything.